Good evening. How's everybody?
Doing well.
Doing all right?
Yeah.
Hump day's almost over. Everybody got through it.
Yeah.
So far.
This week's going fast.
We're on the downhill now. You got us for the next hour, and then you get to put up with the Phillies.
And we're saying this when they won 2 games against the Marlins.
I know, right? You might think I'd be a little bit happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why you played 27 outs. It took all the way to there yesterday.
Did you hear? Speaking of that, we're going to jump right in because I had it on my Phillies list. But apparently, Nick, when he got into Miami, I didn't know he still has residence in Miami.
Yeah,
and he's got an indoor batting cage at his house, and he went right to his indoor batting cage and took swings till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And then on top of it, it was Liam's 10th birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, Liam.
Oh, there you go.
Here's a dinger from your daddy.
Right.
And all's good in Philly land.
Oh, yeah, that was a big win.
It was. No doubt. I said it 2 minutes ago. Let's jump right into it because there've been a lot of close games, right?
Oh, yeah.
Been a lot of close games, and the starting pitching has they've done everything they possibly can do to win ball games.
They have. They've been impressive. Even Sunday with Sanchez.
Well,
Sanchez.
they were talking about, Ranger the other night, 7-8 hits, you know what I mean? And, he got through it. Taijuan Walker, gave up a 2-run home run, second batter of the game. We got through it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here we are. It's August 2nd. Is it time to dial this team in? Is it time to start counting wins and losses?
Well, yeah, of course you're going to have to at this point. You're I think what they say, 57 games left, 56 games left, and you're right there at the second wild card, half a game behind the Marlins or the Giants right now. These games are important. You got to pull ahead of the Marlins here because they were, in the spot right now, before this series, and now they're out of it.
All right.
Well,
we got our resident GM with us tonight. We don't always have them, but we got them tonight. The Fightins are on the road. So you've been telling us all year, right? It took to, I don't know, where are we at, 100 and some games?
Did you listen to me yet?
You told me to be patient. You told us to be patient.
Now do you understand?
Here we are.
Well, this is all that matters right now, right? They're still in it.
You're the resident GM. I'm asking.
All you got to do is stick. It's a long season. All you got to do is stick around to the end and win the last few games, and then you're good to go. Then you keep that momentum in the playoffs.
How do you plan for this?
You don't. You plan to try to be the best that you can be, and it'll all work out. They didn't really make any crazy moves at the trade deadline, nor really did anyone, right? I'm sure we'll get to that, but no one really made any crazy moves other than, the Verlander Scherzer sort of thing, but nothing else was crazy. So they're confident with the team that they have, and they think that they can win. And then you see they've been winning majority lately, so you just got to hope that they go on a run. There's no reason that they can't, like I've been saying, there's no reason they can't win any of those teams that can win. You just got to get on a roll.
Right.
And I don't know what starts that. It could be anything in the clubhouse to make them think that it's some type of superstition or whatever it is. But in general, they're playing good baseball. Now, saying that, they also just showed a stat on the screen. I don't know if that's correct. 8-44 when they're losing after the 7th or 8th inning. So they got to figure out some comeback wins here if that stat's correct. But other than that, I mean, if you said, hey, this is where they're going to be, starting August, I think most people would have been okay with it for the most part.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where that 8-44 record is in the league, because I mean that's probably not horrible, just because with the bullpens today, but you obviously like to see a lot more than that. But.
Well, I mean, just going off of last night's performance alone, I don't know about you guys, but I was nervous in the ninth inning with Sir Anthony because of his previous game performance, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, it was ugly, right?
Oh,
it was ugly, and he comes in last night, and I don't know what he throw 8-9 pitches, 3 outs, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, is this did I just see this?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they wouldn't let, you or I or the average fan be in charge, because, I'm thinking of my dad. My dad would have got rid of the guy, fired the guy, and that would have been over with. But you can't.
I've been saying that all year. I mean, I'm probably, the hardest fan to compromise all of this. You know what I mean? And it's just, I would just love to have a 5-minute conversation with John Middleton. Like, how do you feel about spending all this money and being in this spot, right? To be here. Is this acceptable? Is this okay? And then, I look at Nick Graff's comment about the Mets, and I'm like, holy crap, how would you like to be that owner?
Well, and the Mets said, like, today, all the things I said that hey, pretty much 2024 is a building year to get back to 2025. That's how much of a debacle this year was for them. I mean,
right.
They were figuring out World Series celebrations and spring training, and now they're just been demolished. But no, I think if you talk to John Middleton would say you got to be confident in your people. He'd give you an answer like that. We were confident the whole time that this was going to happen, and everyone else has just got to relax. That's why I think they don't watch stuff like this or in general, or listen to the radio, because it would get into your head. You just got to be confident in what you have, and you make the moves when you need to. But they didn't really make too many moves, so they must be pretty confident what they have.
Yeah, and I don't think they wanted to. I don't think they wanted to tear up the farm. I don't think they wanted to give up any of the major league pieces. I know I saw a funny trade yesterday. Mike Trout to the Phillies for Bohm, Stott, and Painter. Would you do that deal, John?
For Trout?
How old is he?
No, I don't think so.
How old?
30.
30. That's it.
No, Mike Trout's got to be older than that.
I'm saying if he's 30, I would do that trade all day.
He's not much older than 30.
Well, Painter,
young, but I don't know that I would do that, only because he's hurt a lot right now.
Yeah, but those are. I mean, didn't he get hit by a pitch just like Harper?
31.
Yeah, but I mean, he had the muscle of the leg with the foot where he did something.
He's 31.
Yeah, he's 31.
He's 31. I don't know, man. Mike Trout in his prime. Wow. I don't know.
I don't know that he's in his prime right now.
I don't think he's in his prime.
You think he's past his prime?
Yeah.
all right, well, you got to look at it. What are you giving?
On the backside of his prime, if you know.
Painter's not pitching a 2025.
We've seen the best of Mike Trout already.
I don't know about that.
He's on the dud team.
Yeah, he's never had a chance to sort of shine. So if you look at that trade, you said you have Painter who's not pitching for 2 years.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
And then you got Bowman Stott. Okay, so you're going to have Bowman Stott. If you told you would lose Bowman Stott in order to get Mike Trout a couple of years ago when these guys were in Reading, you would say 100,000,000%.
It's tough, though, because they're really the only two guys that are kind of consistent for you every night.
100%. I'm with you, Lauren.
Well, it'll sell a lot of. I don't know if you're trying to do that, but it'll sell a lot of tickets. That's for darn sure. It'll sell a lot of jerseys.
You sell a lot of jerseys.
A lot of jerseys.
I would do that for Ohtani. I don't know about Trout.
Well, they're not going to give you.
You're not getting Ohtani for those three.
Yeah, you got to give a little more for Ohtani, John.
Well, we'd have to throw you in that deal.
Oh, that's okay.
That would still require more.
Me? I get to go to Los Angeles or John.
Is it John we're throwing in or Anthony?
Both.
Yeah, you'd have to send both.
All right. I don't know if I can afford out there, but I'll try.
You can make it work.
All right, let's get back to the real world. The Phillies are, what are they, holding down second spot in the wild card as we speak,
Second spot, yes. Half a game behind the Giants.
and we obtained a what we'll call for tonight anyway as a number 6 starter.
Yeah, he's pitching. He's pitching tomorrow, actually, right?
Right.
They said he's going to pitch tomorrow.
So this pretty much just gives everybody an extra day's rest, I guess.
Basically, is what they're going to do. They're going to stretch everybody out. It seems like a lot of teams are doing this now too, going with the 6 starters.
Well, they were trying. They couldn't even come up with a 5th starter.
All right. Not true. The Lorenzen move wasn't a bad move, I don't think. He can.
For John, it's a rental, right? Because he's a free agent the end of the year, so it's a rental piece, kind of like Syndergaard last year.
Right, exactly.
But apparently he's been on the Phillies' radar for a while now. So maybe they're just trying to take a look at him for a half a dozen starts to see if maybe he's going to be the heir apparent to Aaron Nola, and they're not going to offer Nola a contract.
I don't know about Nola, but maybe he's going to fit the Andrew Painter role that they were hoping for next year.
Well, I think we can stop talking about Painter for the next year and a half.
Well, yeah, you won't see him until 2025, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he might be an insurance plan for him to come back there.
Well, I like the trickle down of the trade because it puts Sanchez into the bullpen and gives you a long man out of the pen and gives you, another spot starter if need be, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he'll be still starting right now with the 6 man, but
maybe.
Well, I would think he still would.
We shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see Topper and his analytic moves. Hey, I want to get Anthony to introduce the newest Philly because he has the most experience with an ex-Pirate. So why don't you introduce him, Anthony?
Well, so the other day, here's what I'll preface this by saying. Yesterday, up until this morning, I was pretty upset about it, and then I had a chat with my buddy who lives out there and used to work for our team here. And he's okay with it. He watches all day, every day. He's very much invested in it. He said it. So you're getting Rodolfo Castro, who is a infielder, primarily shortstop, second baseman. I've been hearing his name for the last 5-6 years, like he was the heir apparent to Bill Mazeroski or something like that. And that's all I've been hearing is this name. So when I saw yesterday that he was traded for Bailey Falter, no disrespect to Bailey Falter, I was a little upset because I said, that's all we're getting. Apparently, from my buddy, what he said living out there, the Pirates weren't as high on him as they had been before. He'd been a little bit difficult to work with. He's not hitting very well left-handed because he's a switch hitter. And he's just not been performing how they wanted him to perform. So when I heard that, and then you look at Bailey Falter, he's still young. He has some arm issues. I guess it's okay from both ends. On the Phillies end, you got a really, really good prospect who's only had this year to play, and he hasn't played every single game. He coming off the bench sometimes. Sometimes the Pirates would put him in different positions. They didn't really get consistent. So on a positive note, you have a really good potential prospect. I guess for the Pirates, if Bailey Falter stays healthy and did what he did last year in the playoffs and to help you guys what they did, it could be a win-win for both. So as the day went on, I got a little bit more okay with the trade. I had just wished that they had gotten a little more, but maybe they know something we don't. And maybe he's not nearly as good as they thought he was going to be. It was tough originally because I've heard that name for the last half a decade. And I'm like, what are you doing for Bailey Falter? But we'll see. I hope he does well for you. I hope he signs some autographs for the kids. Good luck there, and hopefully he does well.
That was leading right into my question. I was going to say, is any of these opinions due to the fact that he stumped you for an autograph?
No, because I was
That's part of it.
no, because I was still trying to obtain an autograph after this happened.
I wasn't.
And I was I also give those guys the benefit of the doubt when they say, hey, their hands are full. Their hands aren't full, obviously, but
I mean, in that moment, his hands were full.
Yeah, but
he could have put something.
You look at Carlos De La Cruz; he signs for everyone. There's no excuse. If you want to sign, you'll sign.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think of that stuff. You know, the catcher they got, Henry Davis, also didn't sign an autograph, and he's crushing it. So at the end of the day, that's not as important. You just hope that he's a good player for the team.
He did sign an autograph. He just wrote your name in his autograph.
Yeah, it was horrible. But what I'm saying is, hopefully he does well for you guys. I have no ill will towards him. I hope he does great. But
it sounds like they both needed a kind of a new start.
Yeah, new change of scenery.
So it's all about wins, losses, and autographs.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to.
That's right.
It just comes down to being a nice person. That's all.
Hey,
you'll have a better chance down in Clearwater to get his autograph now.
Nick Graff is asking about Pagé, and I know he was supposed to have surgery to have some screws removed from an old operation. I don't know if that happened, but that's why he went on the disabled list, and we brought up Johan Rojas. So just getting back to Nick on it's not a stupid question.
Sure, exactly.
Not at all.
Are you guys surprised that there weren't bigger moves made? I mean, I feel like I've been hearing about this trade line, and then you got guys that went back to their old teams, and then nothing really else happened. I mean, unless I'm just only paying attention to my own team, I didn't see any blockbuster deal for anything.
I thought the funniest deal was Verlander going back to Houston. I just thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Not that you feel bad for the Mets, especially on this podcast, but geez, man, they kind of imploded. I mean, I don't know, is that a Buck Showalter thing if they just didn't play together? Plus, he wasn't happy as they were starting to demolish the team as he was still a part of it. So he probably said, get me out of here because you guys don't know what the hell you're doing. And for them to say, hey, they're not ready for 2024, but they'll be ready for 2025, shows you that they were like on the cusp. And that's just, I feel bad for that front office having to sell tickets, right, knowing that, hey guys, we're going to have a horrible year next year. When
this is all, supposed to all be about Philly sports, right? But for a minute, we're going to turn it into New York because the Mets and the Yankees both suck this year. They're both in last place. Where would you ever think that would be possible?
As a guy who loves the small market teams, you feel so happy to see teams like Baltimore in there. You know, they've been working hard and they've been playing hard, and they don't have the fan base.
They've been drafting really well for 5 straight years now, John.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, no, they're doing it right, like you said, but they're still a small market, Andy. Like
they're
you said,
in first place, and they got Matt Halliday or
Gunnar Holiday, right? Isn't it Gunnar?
No,
Gunnar Henderson was the other kid.
What's Halliday's kid's name? They got him coming. God, he's already moved into Double-A ball for the Orioles.
And was just drafted this year.
Jackson Halliday.
Yep.
You know, he's already moved up into Double-A.
Yep.
Phenomenal. But let's get back to the Phillies for a minute because we can hopefully, grab another one tonight, win the series down in Miami, which would be huge because, that's who if you want to make some moves in the division, I mean, that's who you want to make it against.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If you could take the 4-game series here against them and put them, 3 games behind you at this point, that'll be huge. Going forward for the rest of the year. And,
you lost JT. He took a big gash out of his hand, so he's not back in the lineup tonight. And I'll be honest with you, you get a good day's work out of the backup catcher.
Yep,
he's been good, filling in. He gives you, look at that double play he turned last night. I don't even know if JT makes that play.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice play. Yeah.
was a great play. That was a great play, you know. But Phillies are playing good ball this week. We might have a different story next week. Lauren, you're awfully quiet. What's boiling over there?
I'm awfully quiet.
Yes.
No. I mean, you just got to see what happens. I don't know. I mean, you thought that they called that Johan Rojas kid up from Reading to use him as trade bait. That didn't happen.
I did.
You know, I'm happy that Derek Hall is still here because I thought for sure, you know, something was boiling there. But I retweeted something yesterday that I really liked. And, you know, it said something about after some thought, you know, Dombrowski isn't going to trade anybody or do much of anything because he's going to leave it up to the players that already have the talent they need to do what they got to do. And I thought that was funny because it's true. I mean, how much more talent do you need on this team? I mean, it's loaded every which way. So these guys just need to figure it out and go out there and play the best they can every night and stop worrying about who they can call up, who, you know, how they can mess with the lineup, who they can trade for, who they can do this for. Just go out and play. Enough with all the excuses and the what's next and what's down the road, because all these games are going to start to matter now.
Well,
now's the time to, you know, sort of buckle down and figure this out as a team and stop worrying about what the next day looks like or you know, try to reinvent the game.
But keep in mind, that's us and other shows. That's not them. I mean, they know that that's what they're supposed to do. They know the playoffs are coming soon. They know it's time to perform.
But they don't always play like that.
But that you know, that's on them. But they know that. They know it's time, and they'll perform. That's why I said with a lineup like you have, that's why I never worried with it, because they're never going to go and win, you know, just 60 games for the year. That would be impossible. Right. They're going to be in it. They're going to be involved the whole time, and they're going to do well. Now they just got to keep it up for the next month and a half, and you'll be all right.
Could you imagine if that scenario from up there in New York happened here in Philly this year? Can you just imagine?
Well, it's not going well in New York. I'll tell you that. The people in New York that I know that are fans of that team are not. It's not going very well. You know, because they gave that owner, and they're still not necessarily mad at the owner. I don't think they know who to be mad at right now. Kind of mad at Buck Showalter a little bit, I guess, but I don't know who they know to be mad at. I guess once you start making trades and you get rid of you get rid of the big pitchers and stuff like that, then it is what it is. But I don't think they know what to believe right now.
Yeah, injuries. You know, injuries are a big part of of any team sport. We certainly see it, right here in Philly because I don't think Bryce Harper is 100% healthy, and I'll leave it at that because I don't have any inside information or anything, but he just doesn't look healthy. He looks like he's, just I don't know. His swing, even his swing, when it's so violent, he just doesn't look right. John, do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, no, I think I think what you're trying to say is he's trying too much, trying to do a little too much. And it kind of showed a little bit yesterday with that ground ball that was really a Stott's ball to get. And, he roamed over there too far and underhanded it to Suarez in the first or second inning, I think it was. And, led to a base runner there. If Stott gets it, whether Harper should be back at first or Ranger covers and it's an out. It's and then batting. He's got to change his swing or who he is. He's not going to get those home runs because like that ball that hit off the wall yesterday would have been a home run.
Yeah,
healthy.
Yeah, he's just not getting the ball in the air and deep.
He's making good contact at times. It's just he just doesn't have that extra little oomph with that elbow, full strength right at the moment. And
I think the problem is when you get a guy like him, he's so crowd and he wants to play. And, you know, the team obviously wants him to play because it fills the seats and it gets people excited. But sometimes you might have to dial it back a little bit. Now, he wants to be the savior. He wants to hit the game-winning home run. He wants to win it for his team. But he came back awfully early from that injury. And you just hope that the people that are in charge know what they're doing, and it wasn't too soon, and he's not going to re-injure something else. I imagine they went through enough protocol for that. But if he came back and it was enough time, feels like it was barely enough time because he's trying awful hard out there.
And now, you know, on the heels of that, we're hearing, you know, that Rhys Hoskins is ahead of schedule.
The lifeblood of the team. I was just going to say that when we were getting in there. You know, maybe that's why they didn't go out and get a right-handed bat, because they know the heart and soul of the team and the heartbeat, you know, is there with Rhys Hoskins coming back.
All right, easy with the heartbeat.
Oh, here we go.
Easy.
No, we've seen how much we missed that guy.
Jesus Christ, easy. Will you? Come on.
I got a chance to gloat about him. I'm going to gloat about him because
I see that.
We noticed this whole year that's what we're missing in this lineup right now is the guy that can take pitches, can hit some bombs on the right side of the plate. You know, I mean, you know, everybody laughs at him and his defense is a little bit bad, but you know, all right, so his defense is a little bit bad, but he you know, 100 RBIs and 30 doubles and 30 home runs, you don't find that too often.
John O'Brien, do you have a man crush on Rhys Hoskins?
I do. He's my guy. I've been watching him since Lakewood.
You can hope he doesn't come back and go 0 for 10 or something, because I'm going to call you right out.
Oh no, he's not going. When he comes back, he'll be like his first couple of days back in the when he called up, and he hits like 17 home runs in 35 games.
Wow,
that's amazing.
but he'll be here soon, hopefully in September. That's what we're hearing. It's just straight water.
You're getting beat up all over the board.
And they'll let him play right away, or they're going to have him go to a minor league facility first? What are they going to do?
No, he probably will have to take a little bit of rehab. But yeah, I guess.
According to Aaron Boone, you don't need to rehab anymore. Now you just come up and just throw him in the lineup. Who the hell? I mean, even if you're thinking it, who says that on national TV?
Right, exactly.
This game is killing me.
Oh,
is he related to Bob? Can we ask Bob about this?
It's Aaron. Yeah, it's Bobby's kid. Yeah, it's his kid.
He was one of the bat boys back in the
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
When he gets fired after the year, you should have them both in.
Well, we got to get his other son Brett in as well.
Maybe we could mention that on the 12th. You know, Bobby, when your son gets fired, we could have you both back.
Yeah, well, Brett's gonna be the hard one because I think didn't he tell you before when you asked him about Brett? He's like, he doesn't even give me an autograph.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently there's a couple of dozen baseballs floating in the family with Bob's, you know, with the grandfather on them, and Bob signed them, and Aaron signed them, and Brett's holding them hostage.
Wow.
he wants to make sure he gets his part of the inheritance.
I mean, we're talking about a couple dozen baseballs. We're not talking about a couple $1 million.
For your dad, too.
Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did they get that cat out of center field yet? Mom's concerned.
Is she?
Yeah, there was a cat stuck in the center field, like where the ivy is, out in the batter's eye.
The guy who ran on the field last night brought his cat tonight. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I didn't see. Did they show him yesterday? Because I know I did see him going, and
he got on the field. He shook all of the outfielders' hands. He scaled the center field wall up into the suites and was gone, and security never got him.
Wow.
So they never found him.
Never got him.
How is that possible with all the technology we have today?
Oh, my God.
There was one security guy on the field chasing him. His shit's flying everywhere. They had to stop the game to pick everything up. No, they never got him.
Guards down there are 103 years old.
He scaled the wall like Spider-Man, and he was gone.
Wow, that's impressive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Florida.
Yeah.
They're 103. They can't catch them with their walkers.
All right, so we discussed the trade a little bit. We discussed a lot of things that weren't on the agenda tonight, but that's okay.
Here's one more question for you.
We're running normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, sounds about right. Par for the course.
Do we go out and kick the tires about Gene Segura since he got released by the Guardians?
What move in your mind would you make for him to make room?
Didn't he just go there?
Yeah,
They traded him and they released him right away because they got another player in that deal. So
so what would if you?
So he's not playing for anybody right now.
Yeah, he was released right at the moment.
Well, if you make a spot, where are you moving?
Poor guy.
Who are we moving?
You got to move someone.
Sounds like Castro might be the odd man out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if Castro's not ready for right now, like he would go back. He would go to Reading, and you'd have your chance to get his autograph.
And he really wants him to come to Reading.
Or Redden. Or Redden.
Reading.
Or Redden.
Well, that's a hell of a year for him. He's touted to be
the next Bill Mazeroski.
The next Bill Mazeroski. Now he's playing at the.
I don't know how that translates.
Well, he plays the same position ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's got work to do. Maybe you could send him a AAA, I guess, to give him some work.
John, I love your spirit. I love the idea. Other than, what's he hitting? Like 200?
I know.
Well, he fits in perfectly for the team now. He's good. But you know what?
I want to upgrade. I want somebody that's going to give me some juice.
Yeah, but you know what? He's a right-handed bat that's been with. He had some big hits for us in the playoffs last year. He knocked it. He had the game-winning RBI in St. Louis. To get us jump-started to start the whole season. He's a veteran guy.
It's a new year, John.
No, I understand, but he's a veteran guy that is good for the playoffs. I don't know. Like, would Castro be a good fit for the playoffs? You're in a.
He never played in them, so he doesn't know.
Right, exactly.
All right, this is a great segue. I'm going to throw this at you. You're throwing Castro out there. You've got Rojas out there. You got Marsh.
But Marsh played last year in the playoffs and played well.
I understand, but he's still a young player. What is he? 22 years old?
Oh yeah, no, he was.
And you got Christian Pagé that's going to be coming back. You always told me about the bench. You need to have these veteran guys that can come off the bench and hit you a walk off. I just don't know about any of them.
Right. Well, that's my thinking. Segura has a little bit of pop at his bat. Joe thinks that he's another one of my man crushes, but no, he's not. But I just
call by you, Joe Stinger. It's a good call.
I just think it's a. I don't know. I think it's a good, smart move. It's not going to cost you anything. It's a roster spot. It's the league minimum because the Marlins are paying his contract.
Well, you better move because other teams know that too.
Well, right.
They better
because they got DFA, so you got the 24 to 48 hours or whatever it is that they got to put their claims in for them. So, it's just a thought, as far as having just so that we're not so young on the bench. As far as when it comes to playoff time is more what I'm thinking about.
Well. Like Anthony said, our resident GM, you got to act quick because there's probably a half a dozen other playoff teams that he probably fit in nicely out there in LA with the Dodgers.
Well, no, exactly. I said that on Tuesday night when I heard that they Guardians let them go. Like, jump on that, and try and see. A lot of things have to happen for you to get them, but. I don't know. I think, he fit in well here in the team, so it's not like you have to worry about him fitting in.
Right? No. I get it. I just don't. I don't know. The lineup looks strong tonight because 1 through 8, you look hitterish. you get down to Rojas, at 9. I mean, it certainly beats some of these lineups he's been throwing out there.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. And a lot of these guys have good numbers. I'm not watching the game, so of course they're probably getting shelled right at the moment. But a lot of the Phillies guys have some good numbers against this pitcher tonight. So
right.
Hopefully we have a little bit of offense going tonight. But
all right, let's cover a few other topics, and if we have some extra time, we can always
jump back.
Come back to the Phillies. But preseason football starts tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Lauren, we were there a year ago.
We were. That's right.
We were there in the pouring rain, stuck under the tunnel with Washington fans standing in front of us wearing number 11 jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, a year ago we saw that face.
Those jerseys have not aged well.
and he's nowhere to be found in the NFL.
I don't know. Maybe this is a statement not for you guys, for me. Coming from a guy who's had to deal with a lot of heartbreak, I feel bad for the fans. I'm not upset that they had a Carson Wentz jersey. I feel bad for them. They've had to deal with a lot of stuff over the last few years, and they were just trying to jump onto anything positive, and that was a disaster for them.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We had a good trip. I'm hoping that a couple of more Eagles and Maxie Ball number 1. I'm hoping Maxie can catch some lightning in a bottle and get in to the next wave for the Canton. Who's my other guy? The offensive lineman.
Al Slicer.
I know his nickname Ox. But yeah, that could be another good trip out to Canton. And like Lauren and I were all over that facility last year, and they're building and they're putting in a huge hotel with a water park, and
wow.
So it's a big weekend for the Football Hall of Fame out there in Canton. We got football tomorrow night. The Eagles are roughly 2 weeks away from their first preseason game next Thursday night.
Yep.
We'll probably see 60 guys that we never even heard of.
True. Yeah. 60 might be an understatement, but yes. Yep, they'll have a whole bunch of guys. And they only have the 3, which is kind of still weird that they're only having the 3 preseason games this year again. But
right.
That that they're still having to do this, but they'll get into their co-mingling of practices, so they don't have to worry about playing in the games, the guys, and they'll
who's coming here? The Colts, right?
I think it was the Colts, and then we're going. Do we go to the Patriots this year? Is that
I think you're right. I think you're on to something there.
It sounds like you guys will need a Carl's Cards Eagles schedule magnet soon.
We will.
Mm-hmm.
Were they ordered, or is that not in the budget?
No, they were. It's in the budget. It was approved. They'll get ordered. They'll get ordered in time for everyone to have one on their fridge.
Can't wait.
Except for the people who have stainless steel refrigerators and then they don't work.
Well, then hopefully the sides of their refrigerators work. Dad, why are you going to ruin it?
I'm just trying to cover everything. That's all.
Who asked? Well, then tell them to get some tape.
So there goes the magnetic theory.
Well, you can have the magnetics or like a Post-it magnet, so you can do a combination.
I just asked. I just asked.
Just asking if it was plans were all thoroughly thought through.
Maybe I should not ask again. Any other Eagles?
That's all.
Any other Eagles talk? I mean, it's other than watching Jason Kelsey and his 2 little girls run up and down the practice field.
I think they do more practice than the guys.
Hey, were you in the line the other day for the jerseys? I saw that wacky lady, the first lady, It looked like I saw you 3 or 4 behind him.
No, I was not. And stop being a smart ass.
Oh,
I don't wait in any lines.
By the way, there's no line I would wait in at 2 o'clock in the morning, no matter what. I don't care what it is. There's no line.
A Fernando Castro autograph, you might have.
No.
He is not going to let this go.
Not now. I
He was
don't.
the only one in line and couldn't get the autograph.
That is true.
That's true. No one else even knew who he was.
Just me. He wouldn't do it. I did get my O'Neal Cruz in the mail today, though. I got a deal on that one. That came in the mail.
You finally got it? You finally got it.
I sent a check in April. I got it back in August. Not bad.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Is he gonna see the playing field this year, or what's the deal?
If they had a
What would be the point?
if they had a little better record, they would. But he'll be back and good to go from next year, for what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Kay Hayes is also banged up, right? Didn't you tell me he's got a bad back or something?
No, he came off the disabled list
Yeah.
today, I think.
He's all right.
Whatever it's called now.
He claims that that he has no idea what he's talking about when that media person said his dad doesn't want him to play. So, in Pittsburgh. So, I take his word for it. Maybe his dad sent something to somebody else, but he claims he knows nothing about that. So we'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is gonna be a fun year for the Eagles. You know, there shouldn't be any should be not much to complain about.
Well, John, let me throw this at you, because there's always fear, right? There's always fear of some sort of a letdown, some sort of an injury.
Well, of course, that's
here's what's intriguing to me. They've got 6 running backs on this team that probably could start for just about any football team.
true.
I mean, what's going on there? Have you had time to dissect that and figure that all out, or is this just a matter of, positioning 1, 2, and a couple of special teams guys, and then we'll end up releasing a couple?
Yeah, I think it's it's definitely a nice thing to have, because just like anything, you got to worry about injuries.
But you can't keep them all.
Well, they'll keep 4 of them, and then one will have an injury that they'll stash away.
All right, I'm going to throw an interesting name at you, because he always seemed to, when he got the ball last year, he always seemed to do something with it. Boston Scott.
He'll be on the team.
Where does he fit in?
He'll be probably the fourth running back, and they'll probably have him as the kick. He does the kick returns, I believe, right? Not the punt returns. So yeah, I think they'll have him doing that. And then he has two automatic starts when they play the Giants. So
yeah.
He
seems to have career games against the Giants.
Exactly. So you got to keep him around just for that alone. This team is a luxury of wealth. Right at the moment. It's pretty impressive to see. Like I said, as long as everybody stays healthy.
Correct.
It's going to be a fun year.
Right.
It's just a matter.
Now, John, as Carl was saying, does it get you worried a little bit? Because so far, everything sounds great and peachy and everything on paper. If, God forbid, they started 0-2 or there's someone got injured, is everyone going to jump off the face of the earth, or are we going to stay put like we learned from the Phillies this year?
Oh, my God.
Well, since I'm always the voice of reason on this show.
Go on.
Oh, definitely.
No, I think, I guess depending on who the injury may be, like God forbid it would be a Jalen Hurts type of thing. That would be well, no, of course. I mean, I was saying, but that would be like the catastrophic.
Maybe
I love Marcus Mariota. Come on, I love some Marcus Mariota. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I mean, he'll be okay, but filling in for a game or so. But I don't know for something happened, that it was a season-ending injury type of thing.
No, we don't want to see that.
No, of course.
Jalen Hurts is right where he needs to be, and
right, of course.
That offensive line is going to keep. I don't know that he gets one grass stain this year.
Well, no, and I mean he's the one guy on the team. Everybody else, they pretty much have a lot of backups that can fill in spots. I mean, of course, any team loses their quarterback, that's a big factor. But he's the only one that I would think you would be worried about. And like you said, Mariota probably on this team. Not that he'll do the same thing as Jalen Hurts, quality wise, but I think they would be able to still win a bunch of games with Jalen.
Well, I'm going to bring up Carson Wentz's name again because I read it the other morning when I heard Joe Burrow was out for quite a few weeks, that they were looking at signing a former Eagles quarterback. It wasn't that Eagles starting quarterback.
They know better than that.
I just kind of shook my head. The kid, I don't know that the kid ever started. Stennett.
Yeah,
I think they drafted him 4th, 5th round. May have played a couple exhibition games, but other than that, I don't see them. No, I mean the schedule's going to be a little bit more difficult, I guess, at times. But to start the season, they should have a pretty good start to the season, schedule wise. So I don't see any reason to be looking for jumping off bridges. All right. Well, we're going to hold our predictions for another week. So, is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Another week.
Yeah, we could do that. We can hold off. At least, that way we'll at least have the first game in.
Well, not really, because that's next Thursday night.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's okay, but we'll be right there, ready for it. We'll
be ready for them. Real quick, you and I talked about this before the show, John.
Yeah.
Montrezl Harrell tore his ACL, so he's down and out for the Sixers.
Yeah, not a good thing. I mean, but there you go. And that we were saying, hey, they got 5 centers on this team, a week ago, and now, now you get down to 4. So, just kind of like the Phillies or the Eagles running backs. You never have enough of a position. And
so what's going on with this team? I've been out of the loop with them. Anything? What is their plan? I mean, it's got to be hard selling a season ticket. Just thinking from a front office guy, what are you doing right now to prove to the fans that you're any better than last year, if not worse? I mean, what are you doing?
The only thing is that they got the Nick Nurse angle to go with.
Yeah, I guess that gets you through this offseason, but
right, because
you better damn well hope that he wins some games, unless that's going to be short lived. As soon as he loses a couple games in a row, they want to throw him out too.
Well, Channel 6 did a pretty good interview with Charles Barkley today, and Charles, who puts it right on point, he said this is the last year for Joel Embiid to get his act together. He needs to be the leader of this team, and he needs to put the team on his back. And I think we've kind of been saying that now for a couple of years.
Right.
I don't know.
It's a tough one because they were in a not great spot as the Sixers, right? Because I said, hey, move him, right? Move him after he won the MVP because he didn't do any better in the playoffs than he ever did years before that. So move him. But if you moved him, the fan base would have went crazy. How are you moving an MVP? It's ridiculous. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
you just hope that going into this next season, if God forbid they can't win a championship, that he stayed healthy enough that you can move him for something and it's not too late. Because moving him after an MVP season, you're going to get a lot of stuff for him.
Well, that I honestly think they're going to stay pat the way they are. They'll keep, they'll end up keeping Embiid next year, and because they kept Harden and Tobias Harris, they'll have 2 expiring contracts there for max contract players that they'll end up going out and getting two big time free agents to come here.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's going into the after this
right.
next season. But I'm just saying, if you've had 4, I don't even remember the amount of years. It feels like a million. 4 years of them losing in the second round or whatever the hell they've done.
Yeah.
What is getting the fan to, other than the basketball fan who just likes basketball, what is getting people psyched that this team is going to win a championship when they've done nothing except get a year older? I don't understand what they're doing.
Well, I mean, I guess you sell them on Nick Nurse, but you also sell them on, hey, they've won 50 games, a lot. So they're playing good basketball regular season wise. And hey, stick with us because we're going to have these 2 expiring contracts that we can get free agents to come. Maxey will be able to re-sign, have Embiid and signed, and take a big run at it once we have those 2 free agents that come with us.
Talking about contracts, can we talk about the contract the Boston Celtics handed Mr. Brown up there? The richest contract in NBA history.
Yeah, what was his last year? Like $92 million. It was something ridiculous. It was something high millions like that. It was,
what's Tatum going to get if he got over $300 million?
Yeah.
And what are they going to have left to feed the rest of the family?
Right. Yeah. No, it's true.
That's
what are they thinking?
That's what all the old guys say, like Charles and all these guys. They say the problem is all these super teams you're essentially creating. It does make it very hard for a team like the Sixers to win because you gotta get a team where it's got these massive contracts and all the guys that are getting all this money. I mean, basketball, unlike some of the other sports, it's like you go where LeBron goes, you go where Steph Curry goes. It's not, I don't want to say not fun, but if you're a team that doesn't have those guys, it feels like you're at a disadvantage. And I mean, as a fan of those teams, I guess it's cool, but like none of those were any of your players at all, and they're just making an all-star team for a year or two, and then they're going to bounce from LA to Miami to wherever. That's why it was cool to see Denver this year. That's why it's cool to see Milwaukee. But all the other guys are kind of doing the same thing, just going where everyone else goes.
That'll be the interesting part next year if they stick to that plan that I was talking about. See who's going to want to come here to play with Embiid.
Yeah.
As having max players that you're going to be paying them the max money. Who actually is going to want to come here, like you said, versus going to play with LeBron or Curry. It'll be interesting to see.
I got to get Lauren in this conversation real quick. She's been way too quiet, and I'm trying to stir the pot. But what are you hearing on the Sixers moving out of the Wells Fargo Center and going downtown? What's your peeps telling you?
I guess that's still part of the plan is to move them out of there and move them downtown into the city and build that huge arena.
You liking that? Does that? I know you're probably, you and Anthony probably go to more Sixer games in a season than I've been to in my whole life. But does that get you there? Is that something that is attractive to the average fan?
I don't like it, but that's only because, my whole life I've grown up with it at the Wells Fargo Center. So that's what I'm used to. The traffic is less than ideal in and out, but you're used to it. You know how to work the system. You know how to, the shortcuts to take and that sort of stuff. But, I don't know what that looks like. I'm sure the arena will be amazing. I'm sure it'll be super cool, but it's not going to have miles and miles of just open parking lots. So for the average fan driving in and out, that's going to be tough. I'm sure that's going to pick up public transportation a bit, but you're cutting out some fans that don't want to take public transportation, that either don't know how it works, they don't like it, they're not used to it, they don't feel safe. And then people who just don't want to drive there, because now you're talking about parking garages that are maybe a couple blocks away. it's not sort of roll right out of your car and into the Wells Fargo Center anymore. So I think it'll take some getting used to, but it's not the first place that a city has now held a basketball team. I mean, when we were in Milwaukee in 2021, their stadium is right downtown.
It's amazing facility. Here's what I'll say too, real quick. I know I said this back when we first talked about this. It's been done at Madison Square Garden for 5 trillion years.
Correct.
And those are the same fans that drive to East Rutherford with multiple stadiums at that point around it. So it's actually good for a city. It's good for public transportation. I've never, until I moved here, never went to a basketball game that I didn't have to hop on the train and get dropped off right next to it. So you get used to it. So there'll be people bitching the first year or two. But when you have the most beautiful downtown arena and those same businesses down there that are bitching are so excited that their revenue's through the roof because people are buying food and drink after, then I think it'll change. Yeah, will there be traffic? Yeah. Will there be some learning curves? Yeah. But I think the Sixers are also just separately just tired of being there. They don't feel like they've gotten a good, recognition from Wells Fargo in general. They've had trouble with their sponsors. I think they just want to be on their own. And I feel like they have that right. Most other teams get to have their own place. They just want to kind of have it. I feel like that's more of the Flyers place rather than the Sixers, to be honest.
Well, it's funny because, NBC Sports Philadelphia runs a commercial now that I catch in the mornings when I have the sports news on, basically. And it talks about how the Wells Fargo Center has basically been redesigned for every Flyers fan, you and mine, talking about the food and the entertainment and the, all the stuff. And it already feels like
Flyer City.
They're starting to move in that direction anyway. They're starting to move in the direction of, this is where the Flyers play. And in a couple years, the Sixers won't be here anymore. So I get it. And I'm sure I'll get used to it and it'll be fine. But it'll feel different at first. And I always thought it was so cool that our 4 teams all played in one little hub together like that. I always thought that was cool.
No, that's the biggest part I would miss. That and parking on the 8th floor of a parking garage won't be the funnest of trying to get out of them. That'll be interesting to see how people deal with that.
Especially if you don't like elevators.
Well, right, exactly.
Well, you can tell the Sixers have been itching for something like this for a long time. They play in Camden. They're just trying to do their own thing. And I don't feel like when I walk in that place, not that I don't feel like it's Sixers country when you're there, but I feel like it's Flyers.
No, 100%. Great segue into the Flyers because they're trying to trade everybody. So hang on to your seat because you might be part of the next Flyers trade. They're drastically trying to trade Travis Konechny and Carter Hart, probably their 2 biggest names on the current team. So again,
what's up with everybody changing their numbers?
Well, did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? Yeah, quite interesting. Quite interesting.
Have them switch numbers. They got new numbers. I mean, there was like 12 guys on that list that have new numbers now.
Yep.
It jumped up that many because it was 3 or 4 before. Wow.
I'm still terribly confused as why number 8 was never retired by the Flyers. Dave Schultz, number 8, and now you got some rookie wearing it, and it just doesn't feel right.
No, true.
He was part of the Broad Street Bullies. Matter of fact, he was the Broad Street Bullies. You're not winning those cups, without Dave Schultz. And
right.
That number 8 needs to hang in the rafters. I'm sorry. But that's just my opinion. And hey, I know you put up a post today. We're 2 weeks away from I don't know. Let's take a quick survey. Charlie Manuel, probably the number 1 guest that we've ever had live at one of our shows.
It's a good one, but I mean, you've also had Matt Stairs.
I'll go Charlie.
You've had Brent Selleck.
Yeah, Jaworski.
I'll go Charlie. Feel free to jump in, John.
Yeah, no, I mean, like Anthony just said, Jaws. Jaws was another big one, but yeah, everybody loves Charlie.
Everybody loves Charlie. Everybody. Yeah. I mean, he's just. I mean, when we start ripping the manager, I mean, we automatically, go to Charlie. It's hitting season,
Right.
you
Oh yeah. No,
that's going to be a great show. So
absolutely.
it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great turnout. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we had a guy in here earlier today, and he said they're getting excited over there at Hanrahan. So it's definitely going to be good. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to slate any of the other guests, but yeah, probably.
No, I didn't do it for that reason.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, you talk about a manager who was able to manage, that squad in 08.
Right. Got to the World Series and won it.
Exactly.
And then won it, and they were back in 09 the following year, and unfortunately didn't win it then.
This is for you, Philly.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just happy that he won that, and everyone loves him, because I hadn't lived here at that point yet, and I just heard in the media all the horrible things that people were saying about the poor guy. And I said, well, it's nice that he actually won it, because now it changes everything.
Ever since he stood up, when he stood up to Howard Eskin, and it changed the whole dynamics of who Charlie Manuel was.
Yeah. Yeah, I was fortunate. My aunt lives out in Cleveland, so she knew a little bit about him beforehand, and she said you guys would love him. And when he came here, and like you said, he had his moments, where people, the double switching and that kind of stuff. That
of course,
just going to a different game. It's a move that happens. It's not a big deal. It wasn't that he didn't know baseball, and he knows more baseball than any of us put together and forgot.
We all forgot.
Right.
I mean,
he's
got great stories.
Yeah, it's gonna be good to see. I mean, I want to hear about some of the stories from him playing over in Japan.
Yep.
That's gonna be fun to hear. Yep. The stories over there as well. And
it's just funny when you think of a guy and some of the things that people don't like about him. Once that person wins for you, it's so endearing and you love it. Oh, this guy's a hillbilly. I don't care for him. And then he wins, and then he's the greatest guy in the world. Every team does that, but it's just funny how that works.
Oh, yeah, true. Oh,
I
true.
mean,
people hated the Doug Peterson when the Eagles brought him in because no one knew who he was. I mean, he was
made fun of his visor, all that.
Yeah, they made fun of him, and now that guy is a hero here.
Yeah.
It's all it takes.
Nick Sirianni went through the same thing last year. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's, man, when they fall in love with you, it's a hard fall if something happens.
Right. No, exactly.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for joining in tonight. We had a great audience. I swear it's the fastest hour of the week.
It is.
It's the fastest hour.
That is for
Your
sure.
Your son-in-law is a hell of a guy, Carl. Really, really helped me out at a game like a month ago. Huh? We'll close on that.
How about that?
How
about that?
Our resident GM.
Hell of a guy.
Huh? Hell of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is. Mm-hmm. There we go.
I get to have a beer with him every now and again.
Every now and again. That's right.
All right, guys, gals.
Today's National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. I saw in your post today. I'm going to go home and get a case of it and eat it for dinner.
You're gonna crush about 6.
Wow.
I'm going to get a whole 12 pack. I'm going to just crush the whole 12 pack.
Wow.
I don't know if my stomach will agree with me afterwards, but that's going to be a fun time because I love ice cream sandwiches.
All right, share them with Harper. All right.
There you go. I will. See you later.
Guys, have a great rest of the week. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Sounds good.